Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Horror Realm. I'm Travis Bruce, and today I have with us a special guest. He's an author, and he has a book that's going to come out in a couple days, and it's called Bitch Slap. I have with us Jerry Blaze. Jerry, welcome to the Horror Realm.
Hey, thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure, man. Now, tell us a little bit. By the way, I love the title. Tell us about Bitch Slap.
Well, basically, it's it's about a Dairy Queen worker who he's just an average everyday guy and stuff. He's got crushes. He wants to be more than he is. He thinks working the day shift at Dairy Queen is as big as he's going to get for the moment. And well, he discovers when he gets really annoyed, he discovers this as the bank's getting robbed, where he's going to deposit cash, that when he gets really annoyed, he can slap the ever-loving shit out of people, and their heads explode, or their faces fly off, or their eyeballs pop out. And he realizes that he's been given, or he thinks he's been given this power to help the world, so he uses it to become the superhero he's always wanted to be. And since his superpower is slapping people, he calls himself Bitch Slap. And of course, this takes place in the little bizarro universe I've created. And so you got just random everything's going on and stuff. There's insanity left and right. There's like fourth wall being broke. There's basically it's satire. It's like a horror satire, filled with absurdism, and just for good measure, there's pop culture references. It's I had way too much fun writing it.
Now, growing up, I was a huge Trauma fan. Still kind of Trauma fan. It sounds like was this inspired by any of the Trauma films?
Well, actually, yes. I love Trauma. I love cult classics. I love the cult classic films. I love Toxic Avenger, Surf Nazis Must Die. There loads and loads. Lloyd Kaufman is just incredible, and I'd like to channel that into like these books and stuff sometimes, and just see how far I can go and stuff. Just push myself, and so far it's been great. I mean, it's been incredible, really, and people really jump on the books, and that surprises me because it's like, I mean, it was great for me. I enjoyed it, but I mean, to hear other people say they loved it, it was like, well, damn.
Yeah, I can imagine, like, I'm a small indie YouTube channel, right? I don't have hundreds of thousands of subscribers yet. So so when someone comments on my channel, I answer pretty much every comment. It's amazing that when somebody likes what I do and they stop whatever they're doing in their day and they put a comment in. It must be amazing as an indie author to see, like, wow, people are enjoying my books. People are taking the time to do a review, message me.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It blows my mind, really, because, like, okay, so I've only been writing horror for a little over a year now, and Bizarro for even less time than that. And it seems like every time I drop a new book, it always hits the top 10 of the category that I put it in. And this could be absurdist, this can be erotic horror, this could be horror classic. And it amazes me, really, because I am my own greatest critic and stuff, and I think that my books, I write what I want to read. I write like the horror books I want to read. If I want to read a book that's about some over the top just insanity, and I write it and I publish it, and then it's like, this book is awesome to me and stuff. Is anyone else going to like it? And then somehow or another, it does. It winds up getting shared all over Facebook. It gets shared all over TikTok, and the sales just fly, and it's like, holy crap! I didn't think y'all would like it that much, but it does. I absolutely understand what you're saying and stuff. That it's a sense of pride, really, and it's still a surprise to me every single time that anybody buys it or comments or reviews it. I mean, even 1-star reviews. I mean, at least you took the time to read it And you can shit all over it and stuff, but I appreciate that. I like the 1-star reviews on Goodreads. I like any review on Goodreads and stuff. I'll just like and stuff. They don't even have to leave a 1-star. They just say, I DNF this book, it was bullshit, and I'll just thank you.
Yeah, and I agree with you. Like, even when I started my channel, I had no idea what the hell I was doing. I'm not a technology guy. I don't know lighting. I don't know any of this shit. And just from the comments, people say your mic sounds shitty, which I still get that every once in a while. By the way, guys, I went out and bought an expensive microphone, so you'll be seeing it in future videos. But it was just certain things that helped me over time. Like, my lighting game has gotten better, so I don't mind the criticism.
Oh yeah, absolutely and stuff. I mean, criticism helps. It really does. I mean, they can say your lighting is shit. They can say your microphone is shit. They can say the way you talk is shit. I mean, they can say your accent shit and stuff. And it's like, okay, well, thank you. I mean, take the construction good and leave the negativity out. I mean,
Yes.
that's how you got to do with anything and stuff. Even a good review or a good comment and stuff. Just take the good and stuff. Take your promotion. Take the success, really. And when they leave constructive criticism or really bad criticism, find construction in it and take that. Go with it. You can always grow. You can always learn. Heck, I still do.
Yeah, exactly. Now you are I'm pretty sure you've done self-publishing as well as, working with small time press. There's a lot of, authors who are thinking about, which route do I go? I'm about to write my first book. Which route do I go? Is there a preference for you, or are there pros and cons for both?
Well, I've actually self-published more than I've published with an indie press. In fact, I didn't start publishing with indie or small-time presses until I started writing horror, and that for me was a huge accomplishment. But I mean, honestly, if you're going to write a book and you're going to put your life in it, and your heart and soul and everything, and you're worried that no one else is going to like it, you're going to get rejection and stuff, just go ahead and send it in anyways. But my advice is to always self-publish your first title, because that is how you learn the ropes. That's how you learn marketing. That's how you learn how to put yourself out there. That's basically it. You might only sell 1 or 2 copies of the book and everything, but the good thing about it is it's a learning curve, and all authors need to self-publish their first book, because that is how they'll learn, and from the knowledge that they gain, they can use it towards the next book if they decide to submit it to a small-time press, or if they submit it to a big 5, which God be with them, and or if they decide to just self-publish it, that's it. I mean, you should always do it yourself the first time.
And I agree with that, but I mean, because it has to be. I think what holds back a lot of first-time authors is the unknown. They're afraid that no one's going to read a book. They're afraid of it's going to not be great. It's that unknown. I think it holds back a lot of creators from making that first step.
I can see that. Yeah, I mean, everybody's scared whenever they take that leap. I mean, especially if you submit stories to an anthology or something. I mean, that's great, because that's like training wheels and stuff. I don't want to talk down on anybody or anything like that, but you get the analogy or the metaphor. It's basically it's training wheels, because you're putting in a story with a group of others who could be new, who could be veteran, seasoned authors, and putting the story out there, and you're getting some interest. But then whenever you just go and you just publish your first book by yourself, you take that leap, and you might land in in the shit and stuff, but at least you did it. And that, I think, that should be what guides people to take their jump, to take their shot. And it's scary, and it really is, and you open yourself up to a lot of criticism, especially over a debut. And thankfully, the community is, at least in the horror community, is super friendly when it comes to debuts and stuff. They're really, really beautiful about that. Assuming you didn't use AI or whatever to write your book, but yeah, no, it is scary, and the fear of the unknown, like you said. But I think that if you can harness that fear, you can actually use it to push yourself further than you may have got had you just said, fuck it, I'm going to publish a book, and just did it. I know that I can open myself up to any potential criticism, 1-star reviews, negativity, hateful comments, all that kind of stuff. People are going to comment the grammatical errors are everywhere. The cover looks like shit. This plot holes are gaping. But just do it, and you feel vindicated whenever you do it, and people love it. Or you feel vindicated when you do it and people hate it. I mean, that's
exactly.
If you're getting at least a sale, if you're getting any sales, that's the good thing about it and stuff. That's how you've made it. You've made it. If someone bought your book and it wasn't just you, I mean, you made it as an author.
Yeah. Especially if it was someone that doesn't know you, a complete stranger. Oh, those are the best.
Oh, that's great. I love it. I sell a book over in like Germany or something. And it's like, oh, sweet. This book ain't even in German. What the fuck? Great. Love it.
Now, you actually brought up something about AI. Now, Nelson, I've heard from small presses that a lot of AI horror books are being submitted to them. But we're not going to talk about that. I have a question. I see a lot of this, not only authors, but also filmmakers. They're using AI for their covers, their movie poster or their covers. And to me, for somebody who sits on the outside, I'm not a creator. I'm just an audience. I don't like it.
I don't like it either. I mean, I'll be honest. I'm technologically handicapped. Like, I mean, and not just on AI and stuff. Like, I didn't even this is a common joke I bring up with people, but I didn't even know about cruise control in a car until about 2 years ago. I honestly didn't know you could just push a button and the car would stay on the thing for you. I thought you had to just keep pushing on the gas and push on the brake. Anyways, and I'm 32 years old, so but no, I don't like AI. I don't like people using AI for their covers. I think that it steals from artists and everything. But I couldn't tell you if something was AI or wasn't. I mean, I honestly don't. I'm not technologically advanced enough to tell you if something is automatically AI or if it's automatically not. And I know they got websites to discover that kind of thing, like if it is or if it isn't. But those I've also heard those might take genuine, actual pictures and say that they might be AI. And it's like, what is, what isn't at this point. I buy my covers straight from cover artists, and I've had people on Reddit. Of course, Reddit, right? Reddit accused me of using AI covers, and I'm always telling them they're not AI as far as I know. Like, I talk to the cover artists, they say they're not AI. They're not AI. That's as best as I can give you with somebody else's word. I honestly don't know. So it's, if I'm being honest, I don't want to use an AI cover. I would not want to. I would prefer not to. I'll hand draw a bitch before I go to like a generator site or whatever they do and stuff. I don't know the first thing about a generator site or anything like that, and I think it's cheating, cutting corners, and I don't do that and stuff. I mean, I've had people accuse me of using AI because of my output when it comes to like AI writing and stuff. But the thing is if I was AI writing, heck, my books would probably be a lot longer than just 70 pages and full of errors and whatnot. Which I don't find any errors, but I have a great editor and stuff. But that's just me. I don't support AI. I don't like it, and I think anyone that does it is pirating. And I wouldn't support pirates today or back in the day, so I'm not going to support them now.
I 100% agree. And I've had the unfortunate pleasure of reading an AI horror novel. I'm not going to throw it out there with me, but it read like an AI wrote it. Like, it just read robotic. Like, none of the characters had any feeling or depth to them. There was no character development. It just went on. I don't know if you know what I mean, but I didn't care about any of the characters.
I think I can relate to, or I can understand where you're going with that stuff. You know, I've never read any AI before. At least I don't think I have. Like I said, I don't know. I'm not, I mean, everybody has a different style, I guess. But from what I've heard, AI is very, like you say, robotic. It's very. You can tell somebody didn't write it as like an actual person didn't write the book and stuff, or maybe they did, but they prompted a generator or something to write it for them. I don't know anything about it really, but I mean, as far as I know, there are just some really bad writers out there, which I mean they can get better, but if they're using AI, they're not going to get better. They're just going to make themselves look worse. And that's the problem and stuff. That's the problem with technology now, is that it's making it easier for people to take a bad concept and turn it into an even worse concept, but only this time they're selling it and saying it's their own when it's not. So, but that's just me. So.
Yeah. Now, Jerry, listen, have you ever came up with a bad concept? I mean, listen, I've came up with some bad shows on my channel that no one ever watched, and there's only one of that show, like those shows. I'm like, well, because I'm just trying to throw, what's the saying of throwing spaghetti in the wall and see what sticks or whatever. I like one time I did a horror dating show. It's still up on the channel. It was only one episode, and I was doing like a matchmaker thing, and like literally no one loved it, no one watched it. It was just like, and I was just like, fuck, I thought that was a good idea.
So I'll watch.
Have you ever had one of those ideas that you thought was going to be a home run, and then you got crickets?
Absolutely. Absolutely. But the thing about me is, I can guarantee you that almost all of my books are bad ideas, and nobody else would write them. But I'll write them, and I'll publish them, and I'll find some way to get them into people's hands. And see, I got called the king of trash horror a while back, and I agree 100%. I don't want to say I'm like the king or anything, but I admit I am a master at trash horror. I mean, my books are ludicrous. They are over the top. The character development is probably ass. The gore scenes are blatant. There's way too much sex. I am an 80s. I am like an 80s low budget trailer park horror film as in book form. That's me. Have you seen the titles of my books? Seriously, I mean, not just Bitch Slap. I've got Flock of Ferret Frenzy. I've got The Honkening. It's about killer geese attacking a town. I got Psycho Nympho Vampire Bitches. It's right there on the tin. Deadly Seed. It's about acid jizz. Arachnocunt. It's about a spider in a woman's hoo-ha. I mean, seriously, I take these horrible ideas and I make them entertaining, and I'm proud of it. I am that guy. I'm the Michael Bay of the horror community.
Because I was looking at your stuff, I was like, this seems like I was before I interviewed doing research. I was like, damn, this guy seems like he writes trauma books. Like I was like, this seems like full moon production trauma mixed up with trauma in their books. And I actually love that shit. I grew up on that stuff.
Same, absolutely. No, I am what is it? There's a word for it. I'm trying to think. I'm having a brain fart. I am shameless when it comes to books. I will write anything, and I'll publish it, and I'll write anything, and I'll make it fun. I'll make it entertaining. I'll put in my style, and I'll just put it out there for everyone. And for some reason, people love it. I still don't understand why, but you know, I'm happy for them, and I love the fans and the community. I mean, seriously, I love them all.
I love it.
But yeah, horror, bad concepts and stuff. I mean, absolutely, just bangers. Absolutely.
Oh man, I wish I had that, man. Because my bad concepts, they go nowhere. They actually go nowhere. Like I said, horror dating show. I thought that was brilliant. I thought.
Why not?
There was nothing else like that. I mean, because you got to think for yourself. By the way, I hope I'm not insulting anybody because I fit into this. Horror fans are some of the most awkward people you would meet, right? They're just socially awkward for the most part, and like a lot of them are single. So like, why not meet someone who is so as passionate about horror as you? Like, I just thought it made sense. I just thought this was going to.
I mean, I'd be interested in seeing this episode. I'm gonna watch this gem as soon as we get done here. So
yes, and by the way, after this interview, click on it's going to be on the end credits, so you can click it and watch it. But like, I thought it was like even like the contestant, she's a horror filmmaker, attractive woman, this and that, and like I asked her, I was like, did you get any message for any guys or anything? She said no. I'm like, oh my goodness. I was like, how is this possible? I'm like, this is crazy. But no one watched it.
No, but I don't know. I'd have to revitalize that. Like, I'd have to renew that shit for like another season and just push and
Keep
stuff.
pushing.
I mean, just see, that's something else. That's something else. I'm a firm believer that if you saturate the market, eventually people are going to watch it or read it. Because, see, before I wrote horror, I wrote erotica, and I used to, and when I didn't sell anything the first time, I asked an author who was really big at the time, and she said the best way to write is to keep writing. And I said, okay, that's cliche. She said, well, how about this? The best way to sell is to publish constantly, consistently, nonstop. So I took a pulp fiction mindset to writing books. So in the pulp, back in the day, in the pulp days, they used to just write their books, and then they'd look them over for errors and stuff. They do a quick edit, take the draft after they edited it, send it off. It gets published. Start on the next one. Keep going. And this is back when people were getting paid like pennies for 3 words. So, 3 words and stuff was equal to 1 penny and stuff. Just one word was like 0.001 cent or whatever. So, I took that pulp mindset to erotica, and I wrote and I put stories out, and I just saturated the hell out of the erotic market on Amazon, and then Smashwords when Amazon started clamping down on that. And I had over 400 or 500 ebooks published, and they ranged from 5,000 to 15,000, 16,000 words, and price them all the same and stuff, $2.99 the book. And they were selling and stuff like hotcakes. So when I started writing horror, I took that mindset and I applied it to horror as well. And the best thing is like I discovered that the horror community just eats the books, just eats them up constantly and stuff. And there's a market for it and stuff. There's a market for the trash horror I'm writing. So it's like, hell yeah. So, I took that Pulp Fiction mindset and I just put it to writing and stuff. And now I've got like 50 something books done. And it's like, I realize now that, well, hell, I really could have just slowed down and just built up interest for each new book, instead of just publishing 3 or 4 books a month, which was what I was doing. So long story short, TLDR or whatever, just keep writing and keep making the videos and stuff. Keep making these the horror matchup videos and stuff like that, and then just release them, man. Just keep going, dropping them. I mean, eventually people will watch them and stuff, and they'll be all like, "When's the next episode coming out? When's he going to get with them?" And it's like, when's she going to go on that date and stuff? It's like to be like the horror bachelorette or something.
I know. I just thought it was great. I thought it was the greatest idea because it was something that I was like, I did interviews, I do movie reviews, I do like a bunch of other little things on a show besides interviews, right? And I was just like, a horror dating show. And I looked on YouTube, there was no such thing. There was nothing ever been existed like that. I was like, holy crap, I'm going to do this live on YouTube. And I thought it was the greatest idea. And it went like, there was like 0 views. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, and I think it might be 11 views right now, and it's been up for like a year. And I was just like, what about that wasn't interested? I mean, to the point where somebody didn't even click on it and say, oh, horror dating show, let me click on it and see,
Hell, I wish I thought about it.
Greatest idea ever.
I'll watch it. I'll subscribe.
It was fun. All right, listen, Jerry. I know you're a horror fan, so I'm going to do something that I do with quite a few of my guests. I'm going to ask you 3 random horror questions. These are your personal opinion.
Okay.
All right.
Hit me.
The first one is: what is one horror movie that you feel most people don't know about, that they should know about?
Well, damn. let me think, because I watched way too much. Microwave Massacre.
I've never heard that one.
Why? Come on, seriously.
I've
Never
seen
heard
the
that
air
one?
fryer one. I've seen the air fryer one. I'm actually a producer. I got a producer credit or something on the air fryer one, but I never heard the microwave one.
Oh well. No, Microwave Massacre. It's from the 80s. It might be I think it's early 80s, late 70s, early 80s. And basically, it's about a guy. He loves his microwave. He hates his wife, so he kills her and starts putting her body parts in the microwave, frying them up, eating them. Turns out he loves the way the microwave body tastes and stuff. So he starts bringing home people and stuff and hacking them. It's a comedy, but it's a horror comedy, and it's on Tubi for free right now. Actually, Tubi is like the god tier when it comes to low budget crap. But yeah, Microwave Massacre. I wish more people knew about it, and I wish more people watched it and talked about it, because that movie is underrated. Yeah, underrated.
Right, now I'm gonna watch it now. So Microwave Massacre. Check it on Tubi.
Absolutely.
Second one is: what is one movie that people seem to love, and you're like, I don't see it. I don't understand why people love this movie so much.
Terrifier. 100%.
Thank you.
I hate Terrifier. See, I knew. See, somebody the other day, a while back, when Terrifier 3 was in theaters, somebody was like rooting for it. They were all like, "Oh, Terrifier is bringing back horror. It's bringing back the good kind of horror, the kind of horror we all need to watch." And I immediately in my mind, and I don't know why I thought about this, but immediately in my mind, it was like I thought, the people that like Terrifier with its blood and its no plot and it's just nonstop gore and grim and all this kind of stuff like that, they are literally the kind of people that watched Leroy Meyer's porn films and think these are going to be instant classics. These are on par with Golden Age pornography. And it's like, no, it's parody porn garbage. Scooby-Doo Triple X, which I think is actually somebody else, but whatever, Batman Triple X or something. It's like, no, see, if you like Terrifier, I'm literally going to rank you up there with someone who thinks that porn parodies are classic erotica. Seriously.
I 100% agree. Like, because to me, and it's not... Okay, it's not. By the way, listen, I'm pretty sure Damian Williams is going to be on the show, but eventually. But so I'm not trying to bash him or his films. But people hate his films. No, it's not that. It's not that. I think the reason I don't like those movies is because of the fans. I don't like the Terrifier fans because the Terrifier fans, I don't feel like they know a lot about horror, because they act like it's the greatest horror movies ever made, and I'm like, okay, they are definitely C+ C- horror films. You know what I mean? But to put them up on the same level as Halloween and and Henry the Portrait of a Serial Killer and stuff like that is absolutely ridiculous.
It's an insult. It's an insult. It's an insult to grade A horror. Honestly, I don't understand it. I don't appreciate it, and frankly, I just don't talk about Terrifier because you say one word against it, everybody blows up.
Especially in the indie horror community, you cannot say nothing bad.
And while I'm no stranger to controversy, I don't want to get canceled over not liking a shitty clown movie.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, for the third question, without saying Terrifier, what is one horror movie series that you wish doesn't come back, or they need to put the nail in?
Okay, I might catch a lot of shit for this, and I might not, but I'm gonna say the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and the reason I'll say that, is because the last two releases in that series were ass. I mean, the Netflix film and that Leatherface prequel, they were just horrible. I mean, the last time I liked a Texas Chainsaw Massacre film was Texas Chainsaw, that was released in 2012, and people hated that one anyways. But I liked it because it brought back cameos of Gunnar Hansen, Bill Moseley, Carolyn Williams, or not Carolyn Williams. She played Sally, Marilyn Burns, and they had Alexandra Daddario, and I'm fine, but and yeah, it screwed up. There was a plot hole in it and stuff. She's a baby in like 1971, and then 2012, she's like 20, pushing 40. Yeah, it's but it was good. It was a fun time. It was 3D, which take that for what you will. But I liked it. However, you hated it. Oh well,
I saw it in the theater.
I thought we had a repertoire going here.
I saw it. I'm about to say I saw it in the theaters in 3D, and I think it was like $18 or $20 for the fucking ticket. And I was just like, wow, this was a waste of $18, $20. I should have waited for this to come on whatever platform was out at the time. I should have waited. This was not worth watching this in the theaters.
I mean, yeah, I can relate stuff. It probably would have been better direct to video or something, but it was. Texas Chainsaw films seem to take a dive, honestly. Like, the first one is God tier. Perfect. Mm-hmm. The second one, it's perfect. I'll fight anyone over that.
I agree.
The third one, Leatherface, directed by Bill Burr, or Leatherface, Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 3, just to separate it from Leatherface, the shit prequel. Leatherface Part 3 was literally, it was bad. Bill Burr got given a pile of shit, and he didn't really do a good job of turning it into a statue that was made out of a pile of shit. But I liked it because I liked the camp. I liked the cult feeling of the movie and stuff. I liked the low budget, and it's got all those great 90s shit horror film stars in it, like Joe Unger and Viggo Mortensen, who later went on to incredible fame, and Ken Foree, and it really worked for me. Now, the next film in that one, the Return of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre / Texas Chainsaw Massacre Next Generation with Matthew McConaughey and Renee Zellweger, that movie was ass. That movie was horrible. That movie was almost as bad. I mean, it was unwatchable, absolutely, and stuff. And I still don't understand how Kim Henkel frickin' directed it when he wrote when he produced the first film. I don't know how on earth he could do that and never look at himself. I would have disowned it, honestly. Yeah. But and then after that they had the remake with Andrew Bryniarski as Leatherface, and they had Arlie Ermey, the sheriff, and
Jessica Biel.
Yeah, absolutely. And I didn't really like the remake, honestly. Now, they made a prequel to the remake called The Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Beginning, and I actually loved that one because I think it was better because it was more. It had more of a storyline to it. It was more concise. It was more interesting. And I mean, it had its faults, but it was at least watchable. The prequel the first prequel the first remake, the remake just kind of, it seemed disjointed too much and stuff. It seemed like there was a lot of filler, and then they did the Texas Chainsaw 3D, and I liked it. I'm in the minority of liking it, but and then they had the Leatherface prequel from that timeline, and it was horrible. Just real low budget, too low budget, honestly, shoestring budget. And then they had that Netflix sequel, which tried to make it culturally relevant today, and I thought that was horrible horrible thing to do. So I wish that they would, and I hear they're coming out with a new one. They're making one right now.
They are.
I wish they would just stop. Texas Chainsaw Massacre is beautiful. It's a beautiful series with some shit stinkers in it, but just stop making it. Just, it's already got cult status as the grandfather of the slasher film and the splatter films and stuff. So I just think that it needs to be removed from future films. Planning.
Jerry, you and I, when anybody asks me the answer to that question, I always say Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I if you see on the wall, I'm a huge Leatherface fan. I love the original, and I love part 2. After that, I can do without the rest. I really can. The 2 remakes with one with Jessica Biel and what's called, they were fun. Of course, Leatherface Part 3, I was not a fan of that one. Next Generation, horrible. The sci-fi one was horrible. The Netflix one's horrible, and I can't stand Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3D. So, I mean, that is a IP that I wish. I agree that, but I don't know how filmmakers are constantly fucking this up. I feel like, listen, this is not me bragging or anything. Listen, I feel like I could make a great Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. I've never made a film before. It could be shitty. Who knows? But it would be a different shitty view. You know what I mean? Like, it would not be we're doing the same shitty thing over and over again. Take that. You have a great character. You have a great story, backstory that you can use. Take that and do something with it. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
Just take it and do something completely original, but also have the elements of the story. It has to, or just take something, just do completely fucking new. Like, I don't know.
Well, see,
let us have a son or something at this point, and we're following his fucking crazy son.
I think the problem is that a lot of people, a lot of these directors and stuff, they make the movies about Leatherface, which I get it. Leatherface is the mascot of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. He is the chainsaw, basically. The saw, but they forget the saw is family, and that in the original movie, Leatherface is more of a force rather than a character. He's a force protecting the house because he thinks that these people are coming in and stuff. He's handicapped. He doesn't know proper social behavior and stuff. But he's also pushed by his family to do these things and stuff like that. Like, he's got the cook, Jim Seadow, Drayton, is pushing him and stuff to make sure that, nobody comes in the house. And he's got the hitchhiker who's rampantly, freaky and stuff like that, who's basically, he's out here picking at graves and everything. And, and then they did do the same thing sort of in the second one and stuff with the cook and Chop Top, played by Bill Moseley, who's wonderful. I love anything Bill Moseley's in. But after that, it just seemed like they were focusing primarily on Leatherface rather than the family as a whole. And that's where a lot of the problems come into play, is that Leatherface just really isn't that interesting of a character. And I know that's probably going to get a lot of hate and stuff from people, but the problem is that unless they're focusing on him on a psychological level instead of him just being a mindless killing machine, I think that if they could get back to that, capturing that spirit in the first film that Gunnar Hansen displayed, with Gunnar Hansen's Leatherface being childlike and stuff, with him using the switching up the faces and the outfits and everything for different personalities, nonverbal, trying to make sense of the situations and everything like that. I think that would actually be more. I think that would be more successful. I think that would be a really successful addition to the idea of a Texas Chainsaw Massacre sequel and everything like that. Because everything after that is just him being, just being crazy, focusing on the hacking and the killing and the slashing and stuff like that. I mean, make it a psychological thriller with focusing on Leatherface's personalities and mindset and stuff like that. Give him some competent relatives that are pushing him and dogging him and keeping him down and stuff. I mean, you got you got everything there and stuff. Like, put that in your script. Hell, I'll write the script. You make the movie.
No, but I agree. Listen, but I agree because Leatherface is a victim. He's a victim to an abusive, manipulative family, and he has the mindset of I believe it's like a 5-year-old. He has a mindset. So imagine right now you have a 5-year-old child who is the size of a grown monster human being, and his parents are telling him that these people are strangers and go kill them and this and that. They're going to go do it. Like, and that's what he is. He's a child who is being manipulated by his family. And I feel like, why don't you don't see that in the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies? I 100% agree. He is a force. He's actually, like, in the one for Netflix, they had him where he was making booby traps and he was intelligent. Leatherface has never been intelligent. No. He is literally a child that's in a grown man's body, a huge force grown man's body.
Right. He's open to suggestion, and that's the problem and stuff with him. That's the problem with him being a leading character, I would think.
I mean, because you remember he was playing with toys and stuff. He is a child.
Yeah, absolutely and stuff. He's and then the third movie, the Leatherface Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 3 with Viggo Mortensen and Ken Foray and stuff. They had him had a daughter, and they were implying that he got it from rape and stuff. And I was like, well, that's an interesting thought and stuff. Is that what, like a teenage mind Leatherface rather than just the child Leatherface you see in Part 1 and Part 2? Although in Part 2 they did toy with him developing like a crush on Carolyn Williams' character, Stretch, and the radio lady.
Yeah,
you remember that? Okay. And sorry, I have a tendency to ramble sometimes.
You're good.
Yeah. So yeah, basically the third film had him basically have a teenage mindset where he's being more rebellious and stuff. Like he grabs Joe Unger's character and forces him to grab his Walkman or his Discman or whatever out of the stove after he throws it in there and stuff. To punish him, he forces him to do it and stuff like that. And then he's got a daughter from like assaulting a victim, and it's like, now that was an interesting progression. If only they could have made the film just a little more scary, just a little more. They focus on that creep factor and everything, and just didn't focus too much on just the blatant over-the-top absurdity of the movie and stuff. But they also had the studio. Apparently, the studio tore that film to pieces and stuff.
I watched a documentary on it, and so a lot of those movies in the 80s, horror movies in the 80s and 90s, got completely killed by censor. What is it? The MPAA?
MPAA.
Yeah, the MPAA. Fucking, they hated horror movies. So, like, even like, especially Friday the 13th, they tore the Friday the 13th movies apart. So they censored those movies, and apparently that movie was one of the casualties of the MPAA. Like, they censored the hell out of it.
Oh yeah. That was. I think the problem is that at that point, a lot of people don't know this, but that movie was actually just lost my train of thought. The movie was actually trying to be revitalized by New Line. That was a New Line film, the friggin' studio behind the Nightmare on Elm Street films. And if you watch those later Nightmare on Elm Street films, you'll see they got torn to pieces too. Like The Dream Child, that movie apparently. I mean, they cut long stretches of the death scenes out and stuff. And I think they might have done it to later films. I'm really not a Nightmare on Elm Street fan. I always thought they were like too gross. That sounds weird coming from me, but I actually do get very nauseous seeing some shit on TV. But so yeah, I think New Line, the studio executives at New Line and stuff, were playing with fire with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and they had ideas for like so many sequels and everything, but after realizing just how much they would have to put into a Texas Chainsaw film and realizing that it would get them an X rating, they just hacked it up, released what it was, and then sold the rights right after that. So, and it sucks too because I would have loved to see what we could have got with them. I mean, we could have got some, just splatter after that,
Yeah.
but unfortunately, it's one of those, what ifs.
Yep. Can you even imagine a Terrifier would have never even got a theatrical release.
Oh,
And
yeah, no.
really not.
Not
It would have never
Terrifier.
it would have never even gotten.
Not unless it was a trauma film.
Exactly. But it would have got a theatrical release. It would have been direct to video. You would have found it at a video store, but no,
Yeah.
it would have never. Things
Yeah.
are just crazy now.
Yeah, they really let go of a lot of censorship and everything like that. I mean, I don't even think there's video nasties anymore, except like maybe a Serbian film. But that just it's crazy. Mind blown.
Yeah.
But they wasted on such shit films, and that's the problem.
I know. I agree. Jerry, where can everyone find you and your work, my friend?
You can find me on Amazon, Jerry Blaze on Amazon. You can find my website, jerryblaze.com, or jerryblaze.com, jblazehorror.com. That's my brand, J Blaze Horror. Trying to make it a brand. It's a slow process. You can find my books on there. You can find my books on the Amazon. Pretty sure you can find my books on the Bainham Books Press website. You can find my books on Shadow House, not Shadow House, but I don't know, the Shadow House Press website might still be up, I'm not sure. Down in Darkness website. It just depends really where you want to go to find my books and stuff. I mean, you can probably find them on Barnes and Noble at this point. Maybe Walmart online. I'm not sure. But I'm always on Facebook. I try to always be on TikTok as well. Always pushing my stuff. I'm not much of a TikTok person. I know how to post upcoming picture of my covers, and that's pretty much it at this point. I'm not the video guy. I'm not the meme guy or anything.
I'm not dancing on TikTok either. I just literally post a picture and just let it roll.
That's me right there and stuff. It's
as far as TikTok I'm doing.
yeah. I'm just, like I said, I'm technologically handicapped. I'm an old man, and I don't look it, and my age don't say it, but I am an old soul at this point when it comes to all this social media and stuff. But yeah, I'm always on Facebook and stuff, and if you want to hit me up about, asking questions and stuff, this is for the audience. If the audience out there wants to ask me a question about a book or anything like that, if you want to suggest a read or a review, I love reviewing books. I love to read other people's books and stuff. See, I'm a firm believer that everyone needs a blurb from an author in their life, and if I can be that author to give you a blurb for your book and just kind of help propel you along and stuff, I mean that's what I'll do and stuff, because I love helping people. You gotta push others. That's how you gotta do it.
I agree. Listen, by the way, shout out to Krista Branham and Branham Book Publishing. Is that the name?
Bainham. Crystal Bainham.
Bainham. Yeah, Bainham. The shout out for scheduling this interview, and they're doing some good things over there as well. All right, everybody, listen. Go. Make sure you grab your copy in a couple of days, or whenever you watch this, of Bitch Slap as well.
It'll blow your mind.
Yes, literally. There's gonna be some bitch slapping going on. Jerry, it's a blast to have you on, man.
I'm happy. I was happy to do it. I'm glad we share so many ideas and interest stuff, especially when it comes to horror. That's awesome. Need more of that open-mindedness.
Yes. I mean, some of my best interviews, man. Some of my best interviews is when I'm with a real horror fan. I'm not saying people I don't agree, but like a real horror fan that I can go in depth and talk about and break down horror, and that's always fun.
Oh, absolutely and stuff. I mean, you got it. If you're a true horror fan, then you will not have a problem taking your favorite horror movie and even discussing the negatives about it. And some people, they get the panties just tightwad about that kind of thing. So I screwed up that saying, but
yes,
panties in a wad. There you go. I guess
get a panties in a wad. Like I'm a, like my favorite horror movie is Halloween, the original, right, in 1978. And when people say that I don't like it because X Y Z, I'm like, okay, cool. I don't fucking. But like, there are some horror fans that like, if you do not support their movie, it's like, fuck you, dude. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And
Oh,
it's like,
absolutely.
whoa. Where the fuck?
God forbid you should have an opinion.
Yes. Oh my goodness. And I did not look like those fans. And unfortunately, those fans are attached to a certain series, which I'm not going to repeat. But yes, listen. So grab a copy of Bitch Slap. And also, too, like and subscribe to this channel. Definitely subscribing definitely helps this channel grow.
I'm going to do
All
it.
right. Yes. Everybody's going to do it. All right, everyone. Well, thank you for coming to the Horror Realm. I'm Travis Bruce. That's my man, Jerry Blaze. We'll see you next time. Take care.